scrims we actually just won, and then we ran it.
You kind of threw. Gotcha.
Yeah. On towers we had like 20 to 18, 2 towers coming up.
Yeah.
And it was just free, and then we ran in with our tank, kinda, and just died.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been. I think the results last week didn't really reflect on how it's been going in scrims at least. But it's pretty good because like right now we're just aiming for playoffs anyways.
Yeah.
It's like we're not gonna get sixth, I don't think. So it's like right now we do the weekend like wildcard game. The week before this was just we hadn't scrimmed with CPX and Mystic for the entire week before either.
Gotcha.
It's just we just tried out every single guy for like 1.5 a week. We tried out like Makke, Fancy Pants, Assy Right, Gia, and all those guys. So yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think we might have a chance if we get it together to play out.
Dude, I love that. I mean, I'd love if you could kind of like walk me through a bit of like the start to finish, right? So you come to your team with Chili Mountain, right? You guys go 0-2 in the first 2 weeks. At that point, Berghult gets dropped by Granite Gaming. You guys pick up Berghult, drop Fury, and then recently you guys dropped CPX and did you drop Darkchimaera or was it both of them? Oh no, it's Mysticleez. You dropped Mysticleez and CPX, and you picked up Gia and Geln Gunner. So I mean, that's been a decent number of roster changes, right? Like half the roster is new. What kind of a toll does that take on a player? And like what kind of led up to that decision, and why did you guys end up making those decisions?
Well, we can start with Fury. I think at that point, I don't think you can. Like it wasn't Fury playing bad.
Yeah.
I think everyone in our team played poorly. I think there was no specific Fury is the problem. I think the main reason was that he couldn't scrim 3 out of the 5 weekdays. He wasn't able to play because of work. Yeah. And then for the second week, like he gave 4 days notice of he couldn't play on the game day.
Yep.
And all of that kind of led up to like Chili Mountain thinking a bit. Okay, so. Is he gonna be able to play at all, or like is this gonna change, or is it still gonna like we're not gonna be able to improve and like get our shit together if we can only scrim 2 days a week, pretty much. So I think that was pretty much the basic of the Fury trade. And then I wanted to go for another week. I didn't want to trade like that. Like after 2 weeks, I wanted at least 3 weeks to see it out.
Yeah.
See how the next week scrims feel and all that.
The trade deadline is this week, for the record. So the end of transaction is this Friday.
Yeah.
So which is 2 days from now, December 10th.
There was rumors about other teams wanting like tanks and stuff, and I think if we want to make a swap to be able to start scrimming a lot, I really like Burger as well because Granite was not playing him; they were playing Skoog. So I felt like that would be a good swap, and then I've been explained to that there was rumors that Berghult was getting looked at by another team.
Gotcha.
And then I think that's the main reason as well why it went so fast and that we didn't wait another week. But yeah, that's basically it. I think it was scheduling. I liked Fury. He was a really nice guy, and I think he had a good understanding of his role and stuff like that. But I think the main reason was just scheduling and not being able to. I think if we can only play 2 days a week, I don't think we were gonna be able to take the necessary steps to improve our team.
Yep.
And then we had the Mystic and CPX swap. So that was, I think, both Mystic and CPX. They're a bit inexperienced.
Yeah.
They were good players. I think they were mechanically skilled, but I think this a bit lacking in competitive play and knowing where to be, knowing how to listen to calls and like play around objectives. Like there was a bit missing a bit here and there.
Yeah.
And I think that led up to the trade being made in the end.
Gotcha.
And then obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to say, at the end of the day, your job as players is to win, right? So, fundamentally, you're making the decision that you think gives you the best chance to win. And from what you're explaining, I mean, it makes sense, right? If Fury can only practice 2 or 3, because he can't practice Tuesdays or Wednesdays, right? That's something that he can't do on 30K either, right? But our schedules line up better that we can do like double blocks on Thursdays and Fridays, so it works. But like at the end of the day, I think something that people lose sight of is that you make these decisions because you think it gives you the best chance to win. And I mean, I'd love to talk about that. I mean, because you have kind of formed the Swedish dream team in a way, right? You have Schwimpy coach, you have Makke, you got Berghult, you got Gia, you got Geln Gunner. Like, I mean, is this something that you're pretty excited with? I mean, tell us a bit about this history of these teammates, because you've played with most of these players before, right?
Yeah. We played, I think, since the HCC died, I think there's been a couple of tournaments, like in between here and there. Like every other month that pops up a tournament for pizza money, pretty much. But like that's the amount of money, but it's just fun tournaments. And that during these past 2 years, these are the guys I've been playing with most of the times. Like we've been like 7 or 8 Swedish guys.
Yeah.
And yes, whoever can play for that weekend or that weekday or whatever, we play. So, and like during 2 years, you get better as well. So I've seen a lot of development in all these players. They've grown a lot as individual as players. And I think we already have really good synergy. We have that trust factor that like, it's hard to build in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That trust factor, and that like whenever someone sees something, it's just go, go, go. And no one hesitates at all on that call. And I think we have the same kind of view of the game, and I think that's important for being successful. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I think it's gonna take like 1 or 2 weeks for us to get back in the groove.
Yeah.
Start figuring out what our meta is, what we like to play, and yeah, just in general getting our groove back and like getting our synergy back and like just figuring out the game right now. Because before, I think the first 3 weeks, scrims were just looking horrific. And we were not winning anything. And as a drafter, when you're drafting a comp, when you think okay, now I think I've figured this out. I got a really good draft here. I see the game plan. I see everything. This is how it should work out. And then you just lose a team fight at 10 that you should never lose, or you get picked off for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And like you're missing combos and everything. It's hard to figure out what's good.
Yep.
It's hard to figure out what's good for your team. So I think right now, scrims last 2 weeks has been good. We're starting to figure out what heroes are good, what works, what maps we like to play, what's meta on each map, and all this stuff. So yeah, I think we're gonna need 1 or 2 more weeks. But as I said, we don't really care for the next 2 weeks how it goes in the tournament. Obviously, we're gonna try hard and like try our best.
Yeah.
But the main goal is playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, what a story it would be if you guys ran, you know, from the very bottom all the way to the finals. I mean, I'd love it. And I actually think you guys are a team that people are a bit sleeping on, right? Because it is a pretty new roster. Like, I interviewed a lot of, you know, you guys and the Swedish players and was impressed. And I'll be excited to see what you guys are able to bring to the table, because I would agree with you when you're talking about like your pros and your strengths. I think your guys' synergy, right? The ability that you guys have played together and that you trust each other, right? When your tank calls, I'm going in, you know that you can go in and he'll follow up with a sync or his ability. What do you feel like are maybe your guys', and not to expose any competitive disadvantage, but like what do you feel like are some weaknesses or some, not even weakness, but some hurdles your team needs to overcome to kind of get to that next point where you can make that, you know, playoff run it back scenario happen?
I think our main strengths, the synergy and all that stuff. Our weaknesses, I think we might be a bit behind on the meta, like finding out everything and all that stuff. But I also think that the meta right now might not be the best. Like I think it's there's a lot of heroes now. This is the first time there's actually been good competition in the game. And it's only been like 4 or 5 weeks. And there's been a big patch recently. A new hero is coming out. No one is pretty much gonna know what the meta is. So I think we have a good opportunity. I think what we might lack is, let's say, I mean, I know what we're lacking right now, but I think in general what we need to get better at showing up for practice. Everyone has slept good, has eaten, is ready to play, hasn't gone into Storm League for 7 hours before we start scrimming. I think
showing up 100% type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we can get the most out of our practices. I think that's the most thing we need to improve now. Without exposing anything. So I think that's the main priority is to get every scrim block to 100%, so everyone, so like we can start figuring out, okay, this is good, this is not good, this is what I want to play, and start developing like draft trees pretty much. Like
Gotcha.
there's no like not one single comp. Like we have a tree and we know, okay, if they go this way, we can do this. We have tried this works, this doesn't work, this is hard into this, and all this different stuff. Like starting to figure out the meta and not worrying about misplays and like, okay, this was wrong, in like just getting to the point where you figure out these heroes are good, and
then you can start like unearthing and learning about like other aspects of the game, right? Because draft, like you said, is something so hard. Like as a drafter, I kind of hated it because you'd come out of a loss and it's like, is the reason we lost the draft? Is the reason we lost the gameplay? I mean, as a drafter, as a strong shot caller, how is that something you kind of deal with, right? Of sometimes coming out of a game and players are like, draft's the reason we lost, like the draft was unwinnable, and you're like, whoa, like the draft was good if we hadn't made this mistake. Like, how do you navigate that?
I think looking back at the last weekend's games, I think it's a perfect example, because I do think we made a lot of mistakes in the games. There was a lot of key moments that led up to, because a lot of the times, let's take the battlefield for example.
Yep. Can you remind people what team you played versus, for the record?
Chile Mountain. We played.
Yes.
We played Sidestep Kings, right?
Yeah, Sidestep Kings. Yep. Okay.
So when we played Sidestep Kings this weekend, I think we were down. The first game, the Vikings kind of caught us off guard. Still, there's a key moment in that game where, as if we just give them the curse, we were down 2 tributes to 0.
Yeah.
Their bot was pushing in. We had a boss. They had, like, if we give that tribute, get our hard camp, get our easy camp, we can cut our losses.
Gotcha.
And then start playing to our strengths.
Yeah.
But we took the fight, and if we win that fight, it's still fine. But if we lose that fight, the game is over. And we went for the high risk, high reward play, and took the fight. We lost it, and then the game just snowballed. It's no going back from there.
Gotcha.
Because our strength comes in 13 when we can get the holy ground on the bosses and just play around bosses the entire game.
Yeah.
And they can't really fight us because they have Vikings.
Gotcha.
And also they had a really good comp with the Vikings, just a 4-man kill comp. And then, so there you had to watch it like, okay, we did make key mistakes, but their 4-man comp with Vikings were actually really good into us.
Gotcha.
So we need to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to watch it from 2 sides. Okay, the draft wasn't optimal. We didn't play it optimal, but for sure the draft was easier to play. And then the third game as well, like key mistake early game, we just kind of AFK bot. We thought we could fight them on bot because we had like a Garrosh kill comp with Deckard and Bing, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, we win this 4-man. I should have just because they got place rotation first, obviously, because it pushes out waves faster than Thrall. They were 5, they were able to take our bot camp. And then instead of me just running up, taking their top camp,
equalizing.
I just kind of AFK'd, brainfarting. And that led to them having a lot of pressure. We couldn't be 5 at Immortal in the start, and it just kind of snowballed from there, and they got advantage and like level. So like small stuff. Third game was our decisions in game. I think we had a solid draft. First game, some decisions in game, but the draft wasn't optimal. So it's like you have to break down every game and listen to your teammates really well, because obviously they can say, okay, the draft was shit, and then you have to break it down. Okay, was the draft shit? Because maybe he had a hero that just didn't work into anything what they had. He just felt like he couldn't play the game, but I don't see that because I'm not playing his hero pretty much. And he has a better view of it. But then maybe I saw 4 mistakes we made in the game that just cost us
a lot,
like, so much. Yeah. So I think you have to break it down, look at draft, look at how you played, and like just try and combine the two. That's how you have to do it, like from game to game basis. Really
like dilute them both and then like really understand where it's coming from. Makke, I really appreciated you taking the time to do this interview. I mean, do you have any shout outs? Anyone you kind of want to, where can people find you? I know you have a Twitter. What about Twitch? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of time to stream. I renamed my stream Chili Makke. So if you go in and follow, you might catch a stream once a week or month or half a year, maybe. Obviously shout out to Chile Mountain. I think the guys are super chill. I I like Chillrogg a lot. He's a super cool guy, and Fizz as well.
Yeah.
And shout out to all my teammates. Shout out to Gia Hots, because I know he streams a lot, and that I think I like his stream. He's kinda enjoyable to watch.
No, it's pretty good. I've watched Gia's stream before too. He's very entertaining, and he's pretty good range assassin.
And also one more shout out. I actually think Turk casting CCL is actually the best. Like now it's like I just have to give a shout out to Turk, because obviously I think he's doing a great job when he's casting. It's hilarious.
Perfect. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview, and I'm excited to see what your team does moving forward, man.
Thank you.